Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Gunmen killed at least 10 persons after invading a market in a community in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Police vowed to arrest the culprits. Wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, calls for probe of 3.2 billion naira budgetary allocation to Aso Villa Clinic, describes facilities at the medical center as deplorable. NNPC reacts to allegation of insubordination by the Minister of State for Petroleum against the corporation's GMD and says due process was followed in a $26 billion contract. And Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf calls for peaceful elections as the country holds presidential polls tomorrow. For more on our top stories and others, please visit our websites, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. Log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You'll also have access to the Eyewitness feature with which you can share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Let's take a look at some of the pictures that you sent into our Eyewitness portal. We begin with this one. It's from the Benin-Auchi Express Road in Edo State, showing the movement of cattle and herdsmen on the highway. Eyewitness reporters worry that these grazing animals may cause traffic jam if nothing is done to stop the herdsmen. It's also raising concern over the invasion of farmlands and residential homes. Also from Edo State comes these set of pictures showing people whom our Eyewitness reporters says are students of Auchi Polytechnic protesting over an alleged imposition of student union leaders on them by the school management. According to the Eyewitness reporter, the students are insisting there will not be examinations if the election does not hold. We're in Port Harcourt now, the River State capital. We got this picture of a flooded area, which our Eyewitness reporter says is behind Rumokutas Girls Secondary School. It's calling for urgent government attention to expand the canals and clear the waterways. We end with this video of a bad spot along Onitsha-Udumeje-Uboko-Ewoimi Road in Delta State. Our Eyewitness reporter says the road, which is a gateway from the southeast and south-south regions to Abuja, has been in this state for some years now. He says what gives him concern, though, is the road was tarred about 6 years ago, and now it's nothing like what it was. It's calling on all concerned to proffer permanent solution. Thank you for sending in those pictures, and please keep them coming. The last is yet to be heard about the scandal rocking the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Now, the leadership of the NNPC has finally reacted to the allegations contained in the memo written by the Minister of State for Petroleum, Mr. Ibe Kachuku, to the President. The NNPC, in a statement by its spokesperson, Undu Gamadu, is insisting the law and rules setting up the corporation does not require a review or discussion with the Minister of State or the NNPC board on contractual matters. Rather, the statement says the NNPC only requires the President's approval in his capacity as Minister of Petroleum or the Federal Executive Council, as the case may be. The statement reads in part, "It should be noted that for both the crude term contracts and the direct sale and direct purchase agreements, there are no specific values attached to each transaction to warrant the values of $10 billion and $5 billion respectively placed on them in the claim of Dr. Kachuku." The statement further disputes the claim by the Minister of not being consulted in the award of contracts for the 2017-2018 contracting process, and contrary to the claims by the Minister that he was never involved in the 2017-2018 contracting process for the crude oil term contracts, the statement says Dr. Kachuku was expressly consulted by the GMD and his recommendations were taken into account. The NNPC's statement says its contracting process is governed by provisions of the NNPC Act, the Public Procurement Act 2007, and other relevant authorities which are always followed in the award of contracts. Last week, the Minister and the NNPC GMD both had closed-door discussions with the President, and both refused to comment on their meetings. Meanwhile, members of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria have thrown their weight behind the decision by the Senate to investigate the allegations raised by the Minister of State for Petroleum, Ibe Kachukwu, against the Group Managing Director of the NNPC. The union is also pledging its support to the leadership of the NNPC, headed by Mr. Mekanti Baru. They say that contrary to claims in the letter written by Kachukwu to the President, staff are no longer afraid to talk about or express their opinion, especially with the domestication of the whistleblowing policy and the introduction of an anti-corruption committee by the current GMD. The oil workers have also resolved to resist the attempt by officials who are not designated to the administration of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to meddle with the affairs of the association. Legal practitioner, former president of the Nigeria Bar Association, Olisa Agbakoba, has filed a suit at the Federal High Court, Abuja, challenging the non-inclusion of the Southeast Zone of Nigeria and appointment to the board of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the NNPC. In the suit, the senior advocate of Nigeria alleges that the appointment made by the federal government contravenes the provisions of Section 14 of the Constitution and the Federal Character Commission Act and the provisions of Sections 42 of the Constitution of Nigeria. He's asking the court to declare the appointments unconstitutional, null and void. No date has been fixed for hearing of the suit, which has the Attorney General of the Federation, the NNPC and the Federal Character Commission as defendants. Away from issues relating to that story, the Edo State High Court sitting in Benin City has denied bail application of 5 former members of the Edo State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, who are facing trial over alleged fraud. In his ruling, Justice Ohimai Obiagele fixed October 13th for further hearing on the bail application and ordered that the accused persons be remanded in prison. Let's go to Abuja now for more on the news at 10. Here's Ibrahim Adra.
Hello and good to see you. Now, the Community Court of Justice of ECOWAS is pitching arbitration as an alternative form of dispute resolution to give confidence to foreign investors in the sub-region. This came to the fore in Abuja today as the court commenced its legal year 2017-2018 with a focus on current trends in international and regional commercial arbitration. The ceremony was declared open by the court's president, Justice Jerome Traore. Our correspondent, Yemisi Ikpai, reports.
6 of the 7 judges of the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice in Abuja enter the court's chamber to commence the CCJ's new legal year, 2017 to 2018. The ceremony, which is graced by the judiciary, dignitaries and the diplomatic corps, is opened by the president of the CCJ, Honorable Justice Jerome Traore, who in French explains the court's focus. The time has come to determine in concrete terms the content of arbitral functions of the court. The central theme for the legal year, current trends in international and regional commercial arbitration, is warmly received in ministerial goodwill messages as it facilitates ECOWAS's vision of regional integration and commerce across borders.
It is indeed a novel idea and most welcome development that the CCJ is seeking to promote alternative dispute resolution, which is for the benefit of the entire ECOWAS community. And in this quest, the CCJ may also wish to partner with the Regional Center for International Commercial Arbitration, Lagos.
Arbitration is a form of alternative dispute resolution for parties to resolve disputes without resorting to court litigation. But instead, an arbitrator makes an arbitral award, which is legally binding and enforceable by the courts. Its benefits include speed, less cost, and confidentiality. For Nigeria specifically, arbitration has been used in some shape or form since the 20th century and is now governed by the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1988. There are concerns, however, that there needs to be more awareness about this form of ADR.
How are we going to say, as at now, that we have less than 400 cases that have been brought to the court? We have 350 million people in West Africa. Have we ever
thought of it that the court is not well known to Africans.
It's up to the court now, taking into consideration all the other aspects and its agenda to do what it has to do in order to implement this arbitration function.
The CCJ's pledge to encourage arbitration is only part of what ECOWAS needs to realise its vision of opening up trade and investment regionally and internationally, as the court only has an interim arbitral mandate, and that mandate is yet to be approved by the Council of Ministers. Yemisi Paya, Channels Television News.
Many thanks, Yemisi. Also, as part of measure toward strengthening the sub-regional body, the European Union is committing 17 million euros to training programs, part of which will be used to support the ECOWAS standby force. The leader of the EU delegation to the ECOWAS standby force command post training in Abuja, Stefania Maroni, explains that the EU is committed to ensuring stability of security in ECOWAS. The standby force was established in 2014 to provide a ready force against any security threat to the sub-region. And to health matters now, the National Center for Disease Control has confirmed 31 cases of monkeypox virus in 7 states. The affected states are Ekiti, Akwa Ibom, Lagos, Ogun, Bayelsa, Rivers and Cross River states. The National Coordinator and Chief Executive Officer of the NCDC, Dr. Chikwe Hekwazu, says the agency is still awaiting the laboratory results and confirmation of the 31 suspected cases. So far, there have been no deaths recorded. Now, here are some more information you should know about the virus. The monkeypox virus is transmitted to people from various wild animals, but has limited secondary spread through human-to-human transmission. Typically, case fatality in monkeypox outbreaks has been between 1% and 10%, with most deaths occurring in younger age groups. There is no treatment or vaccine available, although prior smallpox vaccination was highly effective in preventing monkeypox as well. The disease is indigenous to Central and West African state. And when the news at 10 returns, World Bank and International Monetary Fund expected to review Nigeria's 2017 GDP growth ahead of annual meetings in Washington this week. That's on Business News. Join us again.